Before we start with the topic of this video, I want to quickly share this beautiful place I'm in. I really like to come here outside for my meditation sessions, and I really like the open feeling of this space. It's just in a forest, a space where there's some green grass growing, the trees are wider apart, and somehow the atmosphere is just very beautiful. So I would highly recommend that when you have the weather outside is allowing for it and you have the possibility to get out in nature, to have some of your meditation sessions just outside in nature and really get out there, combine it with some movement. If you have a sedentary job like I do, get out, get moving, walk, and find some nice spots around your area where you live, where you can really do your focus out meditation in a beautiful setting where it's inviting for you to get absorbed in your senses and become really free of your thoughts and really present. And the topic of this video I want to discuss today is the feeling of emptiness. I struggled with this a lot after my initial awakenings. I had to re-establish a sense of some content of my life that's actually meaningful. When you have these really deep awakenings, one of the struggles you can face is that you awaken so deeply that in contrast to that, your life seems very, very shallow or meaningless. You see the meaninglessness of everyday existence in the grander scheme of your existence as God. And so what I want to talk about is this feeling of emptiness, what it means and how I coped with it, how I transcended it, and ultimately came out the other end with so much more meaning in my life that's incredible and hard to describe. Now I can see how before my spiritual awakenings, how my life might have been called meaningless and really had no direction, whereas now, through that experience, through me going through the struggles with questions about meaning and the emptiness in my life, really has helped me to come to terms with what true meaning actually is. And so emptiness, what is it in the spiritual sense, and how can your journey actually contribute to feelings of emptiness? It's with all things in this existence. There are polarities. And so in order to actually be able to observe anything, we have to experience it on a scale of gradation of increasing or decreasing levels of intensity of whatever we are talking about. If it's just very simple example, the experience of light. How would you ever know light if you would not know it in different gradations, from darkness to the brightest light you can imagine? So if there would be only light, you would maybe know colors because you can contrast them, because you can contrast green from red and so on. But if there would be only light, you wouldn't know that there is darkness, and so you would have to exclude dark colors, the night and everything. So with emptiness, it's the same. You can live your whole life for a very long time not even knowing what its content is, because you don't know the existence of emptiness, because you haven't contrasted it. You haven't integrated emptiness into your existence. It's when you are so absorbed in your life that you take it for granted. You take it so much for granted that you don't even know you take it for granted. You unconsciously live out your life without realizing what contents it actually has, because they were never lacking from your life. And so, in a hard way, spirituality can show you this, because sometimes you deconstruct whatever you had before, see through the illusion of it, and you take it away from yourself. You realize that what you had before was an illusion, and its unconscious meaning that you gave to whatever it is in your life, the content you have, is also taken away. And then you experience emptiness. What remains is emptiness. The experience is contrasted with its opposite. But realize, when you have these experiences, when you feel empty of meaning in your life, when you feel anxious and you feel empty of safety, for example, you lack these qualities in your life that you wish to have, but instead you feel just nothing instead. It's important to recognize that this will pass, and you will work on these, your mind will work on these conditions. You will really go through them, experience them, and also get the beautiful, beautiful stuff out of these moments where whatever you wish for is lacking. It's actually a powerful experience, only difficult to recognize at the time. At least it was for me, and still in some parts I'm forgetting. And so you oscillate back to meaning or to whatever was lacking, and it will be more genuine, because if you go through the process of creating it consciously, you will nurture it, you will be thankful for it, you will see it actually, and that's the important part. Whatever is then coming into your life, you will be able to contrast. You will actually recognize that it's there, whereas before you wouldn't be able. And so the deepest awakening possible, where your personal life is gone, where you are the infinite existence, where you are free of any concept, where you're free of anything that resembles your human life, where you've gone to the other side of sanity. It leaves you with nothing. And at the same time, when you come back, it gives you everything. It gives you everything. Because then the tiniest part of your existence you can recognize, you can value for what it is, while most people don't recognize it. How often do we recognize that we have air all around us? A few years back, I remember I have done a video on the quickest way to feel thankful for your life, for the simple things in your life, is to hold your breath, to exhale actually, and then hold your breath. And in that moment, imagine that you would not be able to have air to breathe in, and really feel that fear creeping up while your lungs are grasping for the next breath of air, and you're holding it, and you think, oh, okay, I'm just one breath away from panic, from anxiety, from dying. And I'm never thinking about that every breath I can take is a gift. I mean, okay, this is an extreme example, but really we are forgetting that constantly the most urgent, most needed part is totally forgotten about, because it's so always present. The air we can breathe, especially here that it's so clear. Who thinks about that? Who's recognizing this greatest gift that we have? And you can actually only value this if it's taken away from you, or it has been taken away from you really once. And when you hold your breath, you exhale and try to hold your breath, you can become aware that it's so fundamental to our existence. This ability to breathe, it's so great. And this is just an example of everything that you value in your life, or that you should value more. And that's the beautiful role of feeling emptiness, of having everything stripped away from you that you love, and then have your life reassemble these things for you in a more conscious way, because then you are actually able to value them. So that's the, what do you say, two-edged sword, or the sides of both sides of the coin of emptiness, the good and the bad. It's hard, difficult, sad, even terrifying when you experience it, and even depressing at points. But then also it gives actually the space for all that exists. It's this emptiness that is actually holding anything of value. Why or how could this existence be here if it wouldn't be complete emptiness? Like, you need nothingness to contrast somethingness to. Otherwise we couldn't perceive it. And so that we come from emptiness and that we are actually empty, we often forget. We try to cover up. And I just wanted to raise here awareness about the good sides of emptiness. And when you are struggling with anything that you have experienced before and that you are missing now, that you are fearing won't come back, and you just experience the emptiness of this thing where something has been before, and see the positive side in it. Work your way through it, and always be mindful, be present, meditate. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.